Battlefield 2042 Hazard Zone, a mode used heavily to promote the game on the build up to release, and a game that had some good promise. It's been likened loosely to Escape from Tarkov, and similarly Division 1 survival mode. It's an interesting new take, and almost a third of the game basically in what is a three-prong attack of All Out Warfare, Portal and Hazard Zone. Basically DICE told us the mode was going to be abandoned, and then suddenly, Season 1 implemented some stealth changes to the mode. So what are they? Let's take a look, and what's the future? I'm Technically Lou, and let's take a look at Hazard Zone. Alright, so Hazard Zone. DICE basically told us they were giving up on the mode and weren't going to do any more content for it, and they basically implied or gave the impression, certainly to me and a lot of other people that I know, that Hazard Zone would basically see nothing. There'd be no changes other than critical bug fixes, and that was it. However, with the drop of Season 1, there's been quite a lot of stealth changes, some weirdly quite big game-changing ones for it, and the new map, Exposure, which was a very strange surprise for me. So basically the statement made by DICE in this video I'll show briefly here now. Let's go.
Let's talk a little bit about Hazard Zone. What's our future here?
I'm the first to acknowledge, high hopes. We set out on a path, but we haven't gained the traction we wanted with this mode. You can still find it in the mode selection screen. But for the maps that are coming in the seasons, we won't put it as a focus. When we look at where our players are today, it means that we can pour our love and resources into the all-out warfare experience, where we can focus on additional tools for even more fun.
Alright, and then following up from that, we had this snippet taken from their website. They did a Battlefield post on their EA Answer forum thing. They basically told us about the future of Battlefield. They did like a big blog post, and here's what they had to say there. One final piece of news for you to take away from today's video: we're winding down future development on Hazard Zone. All of us on the team had great ambition and high hopes for this new Battlefield experience throughout our development, but we're the first to hold our hands up and acknowledge that it hasn't found the right home in Battlefield 2042, and that will benefit greatly from letting our focus and energy stay on the modes we see you engaging most with. Hazard Zone will stay as part of the experience, we're not switching it off, but beyond addressing critical errors and odd behaviours that may appear in future, we're no longer actively developing new experiences or content for the mode, and you'll find that maps we release across our seasons will not be supported in Hazard Zone. So based on that snippet there in the video we had where they basically said they're giving up on Hazard Zone apart from bug fixes, I got the impression, as I said before, that they pretty much canned it and we'd see no changes for Hazard Zone, and then there's nothing mentioned in the Season 1 patch notes or v1.00. So why then did the exposure map come to the mode? And weirdly, there's been some gameplay changes, including a new second chance feature, which I think most will probably find good, except it makes the mode a lot harder. Alright, so here we are dropping into a game of Hazard Zone, unexpectedly loading into the new map Exposure. Very unexpected for all of us, we're pleasantly surprised and kind of excited to try this out. I can't say we played it very well, but anyway, I digress. Here we are, spraying badly at some people across the ridge. Now, in this season patch notes, all they mention is that for Hazard Zone, you no longer need the data drive scanner to spot the data drives, hence why you can see them all on the screen right now. However, there is still a reason to take the drive scanner because it lets you see the players who are currently carrying it. If you've played Hazard Zone before, you'll know once people pick up the drives, you then see a yellow outline which follows the players around. So you can still use it for that benefit, otherwise you don't really need it. Now in Hazard Zone, of course, the new specialist list, she can be used in Hazard Zone. She's available, as is the Ghostmaker R10, the BSV marksman rifle, and the smoke grenade launcher, which came with Season 1. So you'll also notice here in the bottom, tactical items. Well, you can actually use all of them now. You don't need the extraction streak. It used to be extraction streak 1 gave you an extra tactical item, extraction streak 2 gave you an extra 2, and so on. But now you can use all of them regardless of your extraction streak. So that's quite a nice touch. Now you see here me using Liss and her rocket launcher. What I will say for Hazard Zone is the Liss rocket launcher is very useful. A, as a scouting tool, and B, for hitting those Lap V4 vehicles. I like to camp a mile away using the 30mm cannon. Now it won't be a one-hit kill on the Lap V4, it takes about 2, but if you can fly it in the window and hit the drivers directly, or the passengers, you will get an instant kill. So try and hit the driver in the face if you can, otherwise expect to hit it twice, as one just won't cut it. Now, one common thing you'll notice with this footage so far is if you start on the top in the open, it's very open and exposed, hence the name exposure, I guess, and the AI do spawn, obviously on this map too, and they will beam you from a mile away. With that much cover, it can get quite frustrating, so try and use any ridge lines you can, just to try and block sight lines, and take out the AI when you can. But be warned, they will get you from a long way away. And also, you're very exposed to any other lists on the map who are using their rocket launcher. My best advice is to try and stay below them, because it's quite hard as list to get the rocket up and back down again if you're close range. If you're far away enough, they'll get it, but if you're close, try and stay low, and they'll probably fly right past you anyway. And a direct hit is pretty much the only way a Lich rocket will kill you. So watch out for those, because they'll be frequent, especially in Hazard Zone now.
Extraction aircraft's incoming. Should arrive in a few minutes.
Now the extraction sites are always on the top surface level, so beware. Again, Lich rockets, again, scouting as a scouting tool is very useful. And obviously if you're in the back of the helicopter early, expect some rockets flying in through that door. So if you can, try and shoot them down. You can shoot Lich rockets when they're in the air, so look for the orange glow, shoot them down. So if you're inside the back of the helicopter, you're an easy kill for a Lich if they're at a good level to get the rocket straight through the door. So watch out for that, because it will get you.
Enemy reinforcements en route. You should be able to see their signal.
Now, unlike All Out Warfare, there is no 24/7 exposure players for Hazard Zone, obviously, so you kind of have the will of random luck, RNGesus. So you've got other 7 maps to contend with, obviously, so whether you'll get it or not is complete coin flip. But while I'm here on Kaleidoscope, it's a good chance to talk about the second chance mechanic I mentioned earlier. Now, this is a game changer for the mode, and I can't believe they didn't even mention it in the patch notes. It's so bizarre. So second chance basically means when your entire squad gets wiped, you come back in and redeploy, but not after the second extract zone has appeared. So it only works until the second extract zone has appeared. Before that, your team, when wiped, will redeploy with what's called second chance, which you're about to see here in a moment. So as you can see, my entire squad is now wiped out, and here comes second chance activating. So basically it redeploys you at a random point above the map, and you fall down and parachute into the map. Much like you kind of would on Warzone when you died and came back in. You just kind of drop in from the sky and come back down again at random. Now you'll notice I had no HUD for a very long way down. There's no chance of me landing on that roof because I can't even pull my parachute. So bear that in mind. If you do use second chance and you do come back down, you need to fall a very long way before you can pull your chute. Don't just land on a roof because you will just hit it like a ton of bricks. So you have to get quite low to the ground for your parachute and HUD reappear. So bear that in mind. It's kind of frustrating it does that because you can't even tell what your teammates are or where you're ending up really on the map. So you've got to kind of just all agree just go straight down in my opinion, or go for a landmark if it's obvious. But it's a cool mechanic. But the problem is with second chance, obviously it means if you get wiped it's not quite as frustrating anymore. However, it makes the game so much harder because you wipe a squad and they're probably coming back again, and it makes Extract 2 much harder. The old strat used to be you'd leave E1 and go for E2 when everyone else had killed each other off at E1 or extracted already, right? Making E2 usually a bit more risky because if you miss it you're done, but a bit more less pressure and a bit more chance to get out. Now, obviously this is a lot harder. You're a lot more likely to get in trouble if you don't get out on the first extract, as people are going to come back in and hurt you. So, if you haven't got the Rule of the Zone tag, which is for getting an extract streak of 10 with any specialist, good luck getting it now. It's really hard. It was hard back then, it's even harder now. So yeah, and quick subtle flex here. I had an 18 streak as Paig. I'm just saying. That's the highest I've ever got it, and I lost it at 18, but we had an 18 streak extract with Paig. Pretty happy about that. No way am I going to get above a 3 anymore. I've tried, 3 is my highest. Alright, so Hazard Zone, the future of it is looking bleak. So if you didn't know, the reason they're giving up on it is basically because the player count is extremely low. It's really hard, sometimes impossible to get a match of Hazard Zone. If you haven't got crossplay turned on and you're on console, it's just not going to happen. And if you're on console, chances are you don't want crossplay turned on because PC, cheaters, etc. and mouse and keyboard advantages, list goes on. It's not great, and it's a competitive mode, so you want to have the most equal and fair game you can. So Hazard Zone right now, if I queue for it at the moment, even after Season 1's got a bit of a player peak, you're only really getting, with crossplay off, I can get a game sometimes, about 20 people in it. That's on PlayStation 5 in Europe. At peak time, if it's quiet time, it ain't happening. You have to turn crossplay on, and then you can probably get a game with about 28 to 32 as a full lobby if you're lucky, pretty quickly. If you're in Europe, that is for me anyway. Again, on PlayStation 5 with crossplay on. Otherwise, you have a real struggle to get a game. So that's pretty much why DICE have given up on it, because the players just aren't playing it. But here's the disappointing thing for me. Now, the reason I believe people stopped playing Hazard Zone was A, because there wasn't enough reward for it. You get a currency for doing things, extracting, kills, things like that. Have you ever really got much to spend it on? Once you've got a certain amount of money, you don't really need any more. You just keep going and it's pointless. So it would be nice to see them put in some more like rewards, like certain skins you can only earn through extraction streaks or doing things in Hazard Zone. Some objectives maybe in the game, like in-game challenges, like the weekly missions, for example, could be get this many kills, do this, go here, visit this place. I don't know, they could have put other intel you could extract. They could have done something more with it, but they didn't. It was very bare bones. And that paired with terrible bugs with Hazard Zone, especially the ADS bug. If you're not familiar, there was a bug back in the day where if you got out of a vehicle, you then couldn't aim down sights. This bug has come back in Season 1 launch. It's not as persistent for me. I've not had it once, I don't think, but I'm still seeing reports of it on Reddit and Twitter and stuff, people having the problem, so it is still out there. But that was pretty much, I think, the main reason Hazard Zone died off, because it was almost unplayable for a long time, because the vehicles, the 13mm cannon on the LAT V4 is so overpowered in that mode, it's ridiculous. The LAT V4 should have been locked, in my opinion, to only the minigun as a maximum. Like the LAT V4 with a minigun, that is it. Or maybe even just transport vehicles. But the 30mm cannon and 50mm cannon are so deadly accurate from range and do so much damage, it's unreal. It makes it really unbalanced and really unfair. That paired with ranges, which I don't think are too big of a problem, but they should have limited it to like one a squad at a time. But they can have a full squad before ranges at once, which is a nightmare to deal with. So that paired with a bug where you can't aim down sights and the general performance issues of the game and other bugs as well, Hazard Zone was just not going to be an obvious choice for that reason. So it lost a lot of players, I think, for those reasons primarily. And the big shame here now is that they said they're giving up on the mode, added the new map, added the new stuff in there, changed the base mechanic, giving a second chancing, which is a big change to the mode. What they could have done in that video we saw earlier was literally just say, with Hazard Zone, we've added the new map exposure, we've made these changes, second chance, blah blah blah, the new weapons, try it out, let us know what you think. That's all they had to say, and then from there they could have looked at the statistics and thought, even if they were planning to ditch it anyway, they could have looked at it and seen if maybe it would bounce back, would it then maybe be worth another look at. But they just completely, by saying what they've said, killed any enthusiasm for the mode. Anyone who was playing Hazard Zone, anyone who bought the game for Hazard Zone, has been completely shot in the face here. They could have just said nothing. At best, they could have just said, again, what they've done, let us know how you feel. What do you think of the changes? That was it. But no, they completely said, we're giving up on it, without even mentioning the changes they've already made, pretty much guaranteeing it will now no longer ever come back or bounce back, which is a real big shame, because it was a good mode with good potential. It's just a shame. So, no more new maps will be coming to Hazard Zone from now on, apparently. No more changes, apart from bug fixes, apparently. So it's kind of a shame. I liked Hazard Zone. I thought it was a really interesting concept when it first launched. I played it quite a lot at the start. I really enjoyed it. It's a definite change. You know, if I'm in a different mood from All Out Warfare, I can go jump on Hazard Zone, jump in Portal. It was just great. I could, depending on what mood I'm in, I could go and jump in anything I wanted, and it was great. So it was a real shame to see DICE have pulled the plug on that, but I kind of get it. The player numbers are too low, but I still think this is a shame. Before Season 1 launches and these changes, just let it go. Just say what you've done and see how the community responds. This feels really premature from DICE, but never mind. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Hazard Zone and the changes, which was stealthily not mentioned in any patch notes. What do you think of the changes? Are you enjoying Hazard Zone with these changes? Do you think they made it worse? Do you want to keep playing it, or are you, as far as concerned, it's done, let's just bury it and move on? Is this for the betterhood of the game? I don't know. I think it's a shame still, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you liked the video and want to see some more from me, Technically Lou, consider dropping a subscribe, and hopefully catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.